What if the weakness you feel was never truly yours? What if it was a costume, stitched by a society that feared your power, and handed to you like a uniform the day you were born? They told you to obey. Seek approval. Chase things that were never meant to be chased. And somewhere along the way, you forgot what real power felt like. Let me tell you something few dare to admit. The world profits from your self-doubt. Entire empires are built on your fear of letting go. But here's the forbidden truth: everything you want comes when you let go. Not when you fight harder, not when you clench your fists tighter, but when you open your hands and release. Because what you cling to is often the very weight dragging you beneath the surface. You've been told that letting go is weakness, that surrender means defeat. But I'll tell you now, letting go is not giving up. It's waking up. It's the moment the warrior stops swinging his sword in madness and begins sharpening his mind. Because you are not weak, you were just misled. They didn't teach you mental alchemy. They didn't show you that your emotions are molten metal, hot, dangerous, chaotic, yes, but also moldable, transformable. If you know how, right now, you might feel the storm inside: regret, anger, fear, shame. It thrashes like a beast. But even beasts obey those who know how to lead. Mental mastery doesn't begin with control over the world. It begins with inner discipline, a fire lit in silence. You are the blacksmith of your soul, and every thought you have is a hammer. Every emotion, a red-hot ore. Do you strike blindly? Or do you forge with purpose? Most never learn this. They think freedom is found in noise, in action, in domination. But the truth, freedom begins with restraint. When you master your reactions, you master your reality. Because the enemy isn't them. The enemy isn't even life. The enemy is the part of you that refuses to release what's already dead. That identity, that relationship, that validation. You keep holding it like a relic. As if letting go would erase who you are. But letting go does not erase. It reveals you. You were never the broken pieces you tried to hold together. You are the fire that remains after everything false burns away. So hear me now. You can keep fighting the illusion. Keep chasing shadows. Or you can stop, breathe, and begin the deeper war. The one inside. It is not a war of violence. It is a war of stillness. A battle of awareness. And in that silence, you'll feel it. A pull from somewhere ancient. A whisper that says, "You've been here before. You know what to do." You are not learning how to be powerful. You are remembering. Every emotion is a signal. Every pain, a messenger. Don't run from them. Sit with them. Hold the chaos like a master holds the blade, steady, present, unafraid. Mental alchemy begins when you stop labeling your emotions as enemies. They are not curses. They are keys. Keys that open gates within you that were welded shut by fear, by shame, by years of programming. You want change? Then know this: you cannot rise while you grip what weighs you down. You cannot move forward when your hands are still full of what's gone. And you cannot step into mastery if your identity depends on what broke you. You're not here to chase. You're here to transform. Not to collect, but to become. Because the strongest people you've ever admired, the warriors, the thinkers, the philosophers, they all learned one thing. Letting go is not a retreat. It's a return. Self. Truth. The only power that cannot be stolen. Your inner clarity. So when they tell you to fight for your life, you must understand sometimes the greatest fight is the one where you finally drop the sword, not in surrender to the world, but in surrender to what you truly are. You are not here to impress anyone. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to remember that you are the forge, and your mind, your focus, your discipline, that is the fire, and everything you feel is fuel. You don't need to hold on anymore. You only need to burn what isn't real. Because the transformation you've been waiting for, it doesn't wait for your permission. It begins when you're finally done being broken. So now, you've felt the fracture. You've stared into the mirror and seen the pieces, jagged, scattered, trembling under the weight of a life that wasn't truly yours. Good. Because now we enter the fire. But not the fire you've been taught to fear, the loud, blazing, out of control inferno. No, this fire is quiet. This fire burns inward. This is the fire of your shadow. And make no mistake, if you run from it, it will consume you. But if you learn to walk into it with your eyes wide open, it will forge you into something unbreakable. You see, most people live as strangers to themselves. They decorate the surface of their life, but inside, there's a battlefield they've never dared to walk through, and so their wounds remain infected, their traumas untamed, their reactions just echoes of things they never faced. But you are not most people. You are here because something inside you refuses to be ruled by ghosts. You are here to remember what your ancestors knew, that power is born not in appearance, but in presence. And presence comes when you sit with your shadow, the guilt, the jealousy, the rage, the despair. You don't fix it. You don't fight it. You feel it. Because every emotion you bury becomes a chain, and every truth you deny becomes a cage. But when you look into your own darkness with courage, you reclaim every piece of your power that was stolen by fear. Let me tell you a story. It's not about fame. It's not about riches. It's about a man named Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor. Yes, a ruler of the known world. But his true battles weren't fought with swords. They were fought in silence. Within. He woke before dawn, sat in the dark, and wrote to himself, wrote of pain, of desire, of restraint. He trained his mind like a warrior trains muscle, with repetition, with discipline, with brutal honesty. Because Marcus knew this, the external world can be chaos. But if the internal world is calm, nothing can shake you. This is where mental alchemy becomes real. When you stop judging your feelings and start using them. You're angry? Good. That means something needs to change. You're afraid? Perfect. That means you're standing at the edge of growth. You feel lost? That's sacred. That means the old map is gone, and now you must draw a new one. Use breath like a blacksmith uses bellows to stoke the inner flame. Inhale slow, exhale slower. Let your nervous system know you are not in danger. You are in transformation. Close your eyes and picture it, not a battlefield of violence, but a temple of fire. You stand at the center. Around you are echoes of pain, shame, failure. But they don't touch you anymore. Because now, you see them for what they are, not punishments, not curses, just unintegrated truth. And when you face truth without fear, you become untouchable. You transmute. That's what shadow work is. Not healing in the way the world sells it, but alchemy. Taking the raw, unfiltered chaos within you and refining it into laser-sharp clarity. This is the hidden power inside you. And it's not new. It's ancient. It's primal. It's been waiting for you since before you were born. You're not just learning skills. You're remembering a power you always had. The child in you knew it. The warrior in you forgot it. But the master in you is ready to reclaim it. Don't rush this. Don't try to hack it. This is not a game. This is a ceremony. Every breath is a sacred ritual. Every journal page, a battlefield where you wrestle your truth from the grip of silence. Every moment you sit with discomfort, without distraction, that's where transformation begins. You want strength? Then learn to sit still when your body screams for escape. Learn to remain silent when your ego demands validation. Learn to observe when your emotions want to control you. Because true power does not chase. It emanates. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to prove this: that you are no longer afraid of yourself, that your shadow is no longer your enemy. It is your teacher, and every lesson it offers is a step toward sovereignty. Now listen, this isn't about being perfect. This is about being whole. You are light and dark, fire and smoke, steel and soul. Stop choosing sides. Claim all of you. Let the fear rise. Let the shame speak. Let the rage burn. And then, watch as it dissolves. Not because you conquered it, but because you finally loved it. Loved it enough to stop hiding it. Loved it enough to sit with it. Loved it enough to integrate it. Because what you do not love, you will always fear. And what you fear, will always own you. But when you meet every part of you with stillness, you become a force the world cannot predict. You become dangerous in the most beautiful way. Not because you destroy, but because you cannot be destroyed. You don't need to run anymore. This is your fire now. Let it burn. Let it reveal. Let it make you new. Now that you've stood inside the fire, now that you've faced the shadow, It's time to build, not with bricks, but with choices, not with walls, but with boundaries. This is where the transformation becomes visible, where others begin to notice, not because you're louder, but because you're still, like a mountain, calm, like a storm right before it strikes. There's a moment in every warrior's journey where silence becomes louder than screams, where restraint becomes more powerful than force, and where walking away feels stronger than conquering. That moment is now. You are no longer the person who begs for clarity from confusion. You are no longer the soul that chases people who drain your fire. You are no longer the mind that needs to be understood by the very ones who never tried to understand themselves. Because self-control is not suppression. It's possession of your energy, your attention, your time. You are the guardian of your temple now, and not everything deserves an invitation inside. Let me give you a secret that most will never learn. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult needs a reply, because every reaction costs you energy, and the emotionally poor, they react to everything. But the master chooses. He doesn't respond to every whisper, every glance, every wound. He stands, listens, breathes, and lets the lesser waves crash harmlessly against the unshakable rock of his presence. That is who you are becoming, not because life got easier, but because you stopped outsourcing your power. You no longer need someone to validate your worth. You validate it in your discipline. You no longer need apologies from people who never understood the weight of their actions. You grant your own closure, through clarity, not chaos. You no longer get dragged into storms. You sit above them, observing, deciding. That is the fortress. And it isn't built with anger. It's not built with revenge. It's built with rituals. You wake with purpose. You breathe with precision. You journal your inner world so the outer world loses its grip. You reframe every negative thought until it bends like iron beneath your will. You use solitude as your sanctuary, not your punishment. Because when you're truly in control of your mind, loneliness becomes peace, pain becomes fuel, and silence becomes your sharpest weapon. Let me tell you something rare. The people who once controlled you, their voices grow quiet when you stop needing their permission. Think about that. The ones who wounded you, the ones who dismiss you, the ones who underestimated you, they lose their grip the moment you no longer seek their recognition. Because freedom is never given. It is taken. In the moment you decide, I don't need to prove myself to the world anymore. I only need to prove myself to my own standard. And that standard? It's forged daily. In how you handle disrespect, not with rage, but with removal. In how you respond to setbacks, not with collapse, but with recalibration. In how you rise from defeat, not with noise, but with quiet, surgical precision. Because here's the truth, you will be tested. People will provoke the old you, hoping you'll react the way you used to. But you're not here to react. You're here to observe. Decide. Respond with power, or not at all. Not because you're above them, but because you're finally above your old self. And the old you, that version needed to defend every wound. The new you knows that healing needs no defense. Now, if you want to make this real, you must anchor it. Every morning, return to your breath. Every night, ask yourself, did I act with power? Or did I give it away? And if you slipped, good, that means you saw the crack. And next time, you'll seal it. This is how the fortress is built, not in a day, but in discipline. And with every boundary you enforce, every moment you choose silence over self-destruction, every time you breathe through the pain instead of reacting to it, you etch another stone into the walls of your strength. This is what no one tells you. Self-control isn't sexy. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's invisible. But it is the most dangerous power a person can possess. Because once you have it, no one can puppet you. And no one can drag you down. And no one can shake your center. Because your center is yours. You are the master now. You own your emotions. You hold your reactions. You direct your energy. And that means this world, it can no longer control you through chaos. You've become the eye of the storm, still, centered, unbreakable. This is the inner fortress, built in silence, strengthened in solitude, and protected by presence. You've done what most never will, and now you stand where few can follow. Look at you, standing in your fire. Silent, still, unmoved by the world's noise. You've walked through shadows. You've built your fortress. Now, you rise. But not as the person you were. You rise as the architect. Because now, you understand. You were never meant to be controlled by life. You were meant to create it. From the inside out, not driven by reaction, but by vision, not manipulated by emotion, but guided by awareness. That's the difference between the lost and the legendary. The lost wait for permission. They wait for approval. They wait for signs. But the legendary? They build while others sleep. They choose while others doubt. They move while others hesitate. Because the legendary know this one law: if you don't create your life, someone else will create it for you. And that life won't feel like freedom. It'll feel like a script written by your fears, acted out by your ego, and directed by the wounds you never healed. But not you. Not anymore. You've already faced what most people run from. You've touched the depths. And now, you begin again. But this time, with clarity. And with clarity comes creation. This is where your mental training becomes sacred. Because now, it's not about positive thinking. It's about conscious direction. Your attention is your currency. Where it flows, your reality grows. If you feed anger, you will find conflict. If you obsess over betrayal, you will attract poison. But if you place your focus on vision, on peace, on self-respect, then even chaos becomes a servant to your path. That's what it means to rule your dominion. Not to dominate others, but to master the one realm no one can take from you, your mind. This is where your rituals become tools of construction. Every breath? A blueprint. Every thought? A brick. Every choice? A chisel carving the architecture of your becoming. You want to be free? Then stop chasing things. Start choosing them. Because nothing outside you will complete you. You are not here to collect trophies. You are here to become a monument, not of perfection, but of presence. You are not emotionless. You are grounded. You are not numb. You are focused. You are not cold. You are alive in your center. And the world? It cannot manipulate someone who doesn't crave its validation. That's the final liberation. You don't need them to see you anymore. Because you see yourself. And what you see is sacred. Not because it's flawless, but because it's finally real. This is where it all changes. You don't avoid hard conversations. You don't fear solitude. You don't need to be chosen. You choose yourself, every single day. With what you consume. With how you speak to yourself. With who you allow near your energy. You're no longer a slave to the tides of emotion. You are the tide. And every move you make now is intentional. So what happens now? You build. You sharpen your mornings like a blade. You protect your peace like a sacred oath. You walk into every room knowing, I do not need to control anyone, because I control myself, and that is enough. You will still feel fear. You will still feel doubt. But now they don't own you. They are passing winds. And you are the mountain. Unshakable, calm, present. When people betray you, you don't crumble. You recalibrate. When life throws storms, you don't collapse. You anchor deeper. And when the world whispers, you're not enough, you smile. Because you know now, you were never meant to be enough for a broken system. You were meant to be whole for yourself. And from that wholeness, you create. Not for praise, but for purpose. Not for followers, but for fire. So breathe, architect. You are not behind. You are exactly where your soul needed you to arrive. This life is not about being liked. It's about being lit from within. It's about walking your path even when no one claps for you. It's about creating a reality so rooted in inner strength that even your silence speaks volumes. And now, that silence is your language. That discipline is your declaration. That clarity is your crown. So write your life like a code only your highest self can read. Let every step you take feel like a sacred ritual. And when doubt rises again, and it will, smile at it. Because you no longer fight your demons. You've walked with them. You've seen them. And you've turned them into your greatest teachers. You've mastered your mind. You've melted your emotions into strength. You've risen from the chaos. Not just healed, but reborn. So the world? It cannot shape you anymore. You are the creator of your mind, the ruler of your most sacred dominion. Welcome home.